What's up, guys? You are watching The Sound exclusively on Underground St. Louis. Get ready to be taken deep into the St. Louis music scene where you can kick rocks while rocking socks. Our special guest tonight is a band that we have featured on Underground St. Louis videos before, Underground podcast before, all that kind of stuff. But they are great friends of the show. Please welcome The 45. Oh, man. Hey, guys, seriously, thank you for being on the first inaugural episode, I guess the only inaugural episode of The Sound on Underground St. Louis. So seriously, it's going to be a great interview tonight. We're about to go deep. This episode of The Sound is brought to you guys by TAC Entertainment, concert promotion and band management. Take your act from the small stage to the big stage with TAC Entertainment. That's TAC with two T's. TTAK. You can find them at tacentertainment.com. All right, so when did you guys form as a band and how did it happen?
Wow. The first time?
The first, there's more than one. Yeah, let's hear both.
We're on probably the 8th iteration. No, we're probably the 3rd or 4th iteration.
Yeah.
Brandon, the drummer, who's not here because he had a baby, and he's not even showing.
But he's not here.
We didn't even know. But he actually started the band with a couple other guys, and they went through their 2 or 3 years, and then I came in, and a couple folks had left. So, but Brandon's stuck through the whole thing, so he's the one to answer.
So you guys have been together for how long? This group of four.
Probably 6
I know
months
Derek's
at
not
this
here,
point.
but
Yeah.
6 months.
6 months. It feels like 2 weeks with everything that's going on, but it's
Right.
been, yeah. I mean, that time has kind of disappeared, and I've known Dave for 10 years, 12 years.
Yeah.
Because this house where we're sitting right now, was a ridiculous den of debauchery for many years, and
this used to be your bed, you were saying, that you're sitting on right now. I heard
because
that, right?
Because I couldn't make it upstairs.
But first time I came here, Bane said he was having a Halloween party. I didn't know he lived in a mansion at the time. But I come in, the first thing I see is him setting up a big cauldron of jungle juice with a skull that sprays it out.
Oh my God.
It was,
Yeah, that was this time, probably, I don't know, 2009, 2010.
yeah.
But this has always been a band house. It's always been kind of the refuge. So there were many nights at many a show that everybody just kind of piled back in here and found whatever corner they could to sleep in. People sleep in the fireplace. Just
Shit.
one of those things.
You wouldn't think that this is a band house. You think that this is like where you have like book club and you're just like fireside chat and just reading and all that kind of stuff. And
That's on
discussion.
design. Yeah.
Yeah.
40. We made a band decision. I mean, that's a 45 thing. We don't do interviews, man.
We do
fireside chat.
Fireside chats.
This is it.
That's awesome. What kind of genre of music would you guys say you are? Because, like there's so many people, some people are just very generic and they'll say rock and roll. Other people will say, well, like I'm butterfly rock, I'm like over here and this and that, kind of with a little Bumblebee mixed in. So what kind of genre of music are you guys?
It's hard. Obviously, everything falls under the rock umbrella, but we don't really try to establish a single thread that we tie back to. And it kind of goes like your CD player sometimes, or I guess, how old am I now? But you go through different playlists, and different moods throughout the week or throughout the month. But there's some things that'll come out and it'll just kind of stay in your wheelhouse. Each new person that comes in over time obviously has a well that they pull from, and we're not afraid to just kind of let that carry forward. And what's interesting, I think, is when you get people who are coming from different eras, we'll have something that's starts up very straight ahead as a like an AC/DC beat, and then you'll have a Guns N' Roses riff happening over here, and then something else will come in. Jared will hit a delay, and suddenly it's a Smashing Pumpkins song, and it's like we're
all
kind of
great elements, by the way.
but they morph, and as we add those layers, we kind of have to parse through it and figure out exactly where we're going to take the song and pin it to. But there is no singular well. It really changes by mood and by week. I mean, sometimes if we've all kind of had, there's times you have a day and you show up to rehearsal and you've had a day and every idea sucks, and then the third beer break, something just kicks. And you come in and then you've got an amazing song. And we'll get 9 or 10 ideas, and then over a year or two, we turn those into 4 or 5 really good ideas, and then we go and record them. But
when people say we're just a rock band, a lot of times they're talking about the whole umbrella, but I feel like we are generally a rock band. We're not quite meat and potatoes, but we're not pretentious either. It's accessible rock,
Because, I mean, rock is, you could take it, it depends on how you take it. You could take it as a generic term, rock, or you could take it, like you said, as an umbrella term and be like, these guys can be pretty much anything. These guys could be chameleons,
As crazy as it sounds, there is a difference now between rock and having a rock, hard rock, and a roll. The roll is the important part.
Okay.
Well, he doesn't scream and he doesn't whine.
If you rock and roll, there's a difference.
So what's all right? So there's rocking and there's rolling.
Yeah.
I'm a rock and roll guy, but what's the roll? Help me out, if I'm just a layman when it comes to music. Help me out between rock and
the
roll.
roll is the dance element. The roll is the party.
It's the soul.
Okay,
That's
The roll.
gotcha.
There's a lot of rock songs, and I mean the 2010s were famous for this. It was aggressive, it was angry, it was heavy, but it really wasn't necessarily something you dance to. Most of our stuff is written in a tempo and a key and with an overall mood that gets your ass out of the chair. And I'll watch people that have had a day, and we'll get up on stage and we're the third band or whatever, and everybody's just kind of milling about and they haven't really had their evening kicked out of them yet. But by the second or third song, even the curmudgeons that are just kind of sitting there and don't really want to be there, they're starting to move. That's when you know you got them.
Gotcha.
And it's
That's the roll.
there's a formula to that, and there's times that we'll come back and we'll tweak the tempo of a song and say, do we need to dial that back or up? Because you can sense when it hits where it's supposed to, and it's not always your first go round. We're constantly A-Bing stuff, which is kind of a weird thing to do, but I'll rewrite melodies if if the song fits something different, and sometimes I won't stop. Even after we get in the studio, I think we did 3 different versions of one of the songs before we settled on one that we really wanted.
Oh wow!
Was it the best one? I don't know, but that's the one that everybody's gonna hear.
Yeah.
So it better be.
I think we chose the best one.
It's funny that you said it because we featured songs of yours before. I mean, like most notably Head to Toe, and we've had that on a couple videos now. And what's funny is we have our videos edited on Underground St. Louis, edited by a couple different people, and on different videos on separate occasions, people have picked Head to Toe, and I give them like a music library of music that bands have allowed us to use. And now twice now on 2 on location videos, Head to Toe has been used. And they've gone through like about 10, maybe 12 other songs, and they picked Head to Toe because it does have that tempo. It is up, and it is unique. It does remind, and I was listening to it off the edge. I was listening to that too, and I was like, what do these songs remind me of? And I really couldn't like pick something. You know how like some bands you think like, oh, that sounds like Breaking Benjamin. Oh, that sounds like Shinedown a little bit. But I couldn't place it for you guys because it's like, oh, well, yeah, that kind of sounds like this. It kind of so it does. I mean, kind of to your credibility there. What could be improved about the St. Louis music scene? Because it is huge, and it seems like a lot of musicians all know one another. But we're just not known. I feel like it's like a diamond in the rough. So what can the St. Louis scene do to kind of go further with it?
Well, there's a couple things. I think some of them have worked themselves out. Pay to play is one of the worst scams ever to befall the music industry, and that's going away. It's going away. It has to.
And for viewers out there, what is pay to play exactly?
Sell tickets, make a fraction of the money, and then give the rest to the club to operate their costs. Clubs got to run. They do, and they have operating costs, but that's part of owning a business. That's any business. We're a business. We have operating costs. New strings, transportation, rent a trailer, those are operating costs. And if you sell a T-shirt, that goes towards that. You can't just give people T-shirts. You got to get them made. You have to pay the artist to come up with the artwork, and they screen print them. I mean, it's a business like anything else, and there's costs associated with that. Additionally, when you have people coming in to open for national acts, there's a way to match those, so that it makes sense. There are local artists that will supplant the national opener, and somebody that will complement them well, and that will bring in a crowd because they're a similar well that they're drawing from. And you also have groups that have no business opening for a band that is of a certain size just because there's no fit there. But hey, they sell tickets, right? Does that do a service overall to the scene? We don't know. But the mechanics of it can't just be about dollars and cents. It has to be about the passion. It has to be about the fit. It has to be about fostering a scene, because people aren't going to come out if it's the same band that they've seen 100 times and 4 bands that they don't care to see. They'll go, they'll watch one band, they'll leave.
Gotcha.
You've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
I do think there's a lack of channels, though. As far as everything goes, and it's a weird thing right now because it's odd times. I mean, people aren't playing shows.
Right.
So I would say a lot of that is, prior to that. So who knows how we're going to come out of this tunnel? As far as like what we had. We still do have a lot of clubs so far. As far as the places to play. And there's new places opening up. They need support. You know what I mean? As far from a local standpoint, that's the other thing. But we lost the local show on the point. We lost the channel. There's only so people go to their normal watering hole and they just go back and forth for music. As far as that goes, it's weird. Back in the day, pre-internet, the way you found music was really organic. You
had
heard
to
it
go
from
out.
a friend.
Yeah.
You heard it from the radio, which was 3 or 4 spots that you had. As far as to get across. Now you have every channel available. It's a friggin' superhighway. You can find every type of music you could ever possibly want. Now people don't know where the fuck to go either.
Yeah,
I think it definitely
the signal to
hurts.
noise ratio has completely changed.
So
yeah.
it's like you have so much coming in. People will pay $150 to see Rage Against the Machine when they could see 6 bands in St. Louis that are probably more edgy or have something going on. Don't get me wrong. Rage Against they're fantastic.
great.
But it's just like, compare that, and people don't weigh that out.
You could get in for $5 at a venue, see a band that's just as good, if not, and
I personally get a lot more out of local music. I can't tell you how many times I've seen big bands, the same ones over and over. But the nights that I remember fondly and the nights that I really feel like are some of the most memorable in my life were me and 25 of my closest friends, throwing empty bottles at each other. That's some of the best times you can have in your life, and especially in a town like this. It's you run into somebody at Costco, you're like, oh dude, that was a hell of a night. You don't get that. You don't get that with Tom Morello. I'm not going to bump into him at Sam's.
you could,
but Furlan's played with him, and I'll never forget this thing. You want to hear a funny ass story? Like we had played. And we were opening for Street Sweeper Social Club over at Pops, and they gave us a direct support gig, and we played after, and Tom Morello was in the corner signing autographs, and our singer Jason was standing over there. He and I were talking, and somebody asked Tom Morello for an autograph, and then they recognized Jason, as the band, and this girl actually asked Tom Morello to borrow his Sharpie so Jason could sign her shirt.
I'm sure Tom
I'd make Jason.
And he was totally cool. There's a great. He's like, I will say that about Tom. He just like he took a step. He's like, yeah, sure. He gave her the Sharpie. And Jason, I'm like, I looked at Jason. I'm like, I'll never forget that. I'll never let you forget this for the rest of your life.
That's
One thing that I think is cool about the music scene now in St. Louis, though, is you've got underground, you've got things like Beyond FM.
Yeah.
And where we don't have the local show anymore, like he mentioned, people people want, could go see Rage Against the Machine, or they can go see a local band, but they want that experience.
And correct me if I'm wrong. That's how we met you guys, was through Beyond FM. They're doing
We did. T-Bone hit us up because we do a podcast every week, and we feature local music on the podcast. You know, one or two
Download
songs.
that app.
Yeah, Beyond FM 24/7.
Well, on
Don't
top
think
of that, obviously the market's saturated. Anybody can record an album in their basement, but you have your channel in Beyond FM to where the bands are accessible. You know, you could, watch interviews with them. You could hear them on the radio in Beyond FM. So it's an experience. And you go to a place like the Diamond Music Hall, and it's not some shithole with a bathroom with no toilet seat. It's a nice venue to where you go and experience a concert experience.
And you have space to spread out. You have space to dance. You have an area where everybody can kind of congregate. There's pool halls. There's a lot of things you can do there. All the negative stuff aside, one of the best things you can do for a scene is to have a consistent and friendly environment where people can kind of go and share their fan base. And I mean, I can't tell you how many people have started relationships at rock shows. And you know what I mean? It is a probably more than any other that I can think of, an organic way to meet somebody and really understand that you have this common thread that you pull from. Like, rock and roll is something that unites people that I don't know of any other real hobby or, church or religion or anything like that really people can just go and have fun and have a natural way to talk to each other and like, hey, I really like this band. Oh, hey, have you ever met so-and-so, the bass player? Oh, yeah, I know this guy. Hey, do you know this person? And they start going back through their entire family history, and 45 minutes later, they're making out in the parking lot. I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. I've never seen that anywhere else.
Yeah.
It is a magical experience.
It really is. And despite
Jared's like first-hand account there.
despite things being saturated, there's a disconnect, I think, between how easy it is to make music in your basement and actually having to go out and perform that live. Especially now.
The couple shows the show that I've seen you guys play at, that was just a fun time, and everybody was talking.
Beyond FM's birthday party.
That was Beyond FM's 1-year anniversary, and then the second time I saw you guys, you weren't playing, but that was at I think Static Cycle, Divine Sorrow, Chaos Bloom, and we just all sat around, and I know Jared and I we were shooting the shit for
just chatted.
about 20-30 minutes, and that's how we came up with doing a show like this. So yeah, the relationships that you made, the relationships that we've made as Underground St. Louis just in the past 6 months has been crazy. Just by actually going to rock shows and going to music venues and just sitting down and talking with people.
Yeah,
there's your regulars that you're going to recognize right away. But there's also people that they're only going to come out for a special occasion. They got kids, they got life coming at them. But there's certain bands that'll bring people out. And there's certain environments that just foster that. And if you can put together a night that's just, I'm going to go in a time capsule and I'm going to be there for 10 hours and not even feel it the next morning because it was totally worth it. Just ride those endorphins.
Embrace everybody at that show.
Yeah.
All right, guys, without further ado, enough chatting. Here is Head to Toe by the 45.
so that we know we're all packed in head to toe. Now we're slipping through those cracks, but you don't know.
Last question. What's new on the horizon for you guys? What do you guys have planned? You know, future projects that are in the works, all that kind of stuff. What's coming up for the 45?
I'm glad you asked.
Hey, thanks, man.
We actually just finished recording 3 songs. Now we mentioned earlier we recorded the vocals I don't know how many times, but they got better, incrementally better. You know, it's again, you A/B test it, you take it out there, and the kid says I hate it, and then that's all you need to know. Lockdown has been very good for us in terms of productivity. So
that's what a lot of musicians are saying.
Yeah.
I mean,
You know, they're not playing, but they're given a chance to actually record and practice and come up with new stuff.
Part of it is, you know, if you're recording or if you're practicing because you know you got to go out and play a show, you're going to hit the same 6 songs and you're going to do it 5 times, right? And then you're going to go home. You're tightening up something that's an existing product, but only a small amount of time is devoted to creation. But with the 3 that we've got now, that have been around for a while, and then
The EP.
right,
So we'll have the EP.
and then we'll have 3
Content
more.
to come with it.
Yeah.
Because honestly, what else? There's not a whole lot of shows being booked. Probably we'll put together a show, for sure around that. But the goal is to have content behind it. Right now the content's king. So we'll have 3 songs, 3 videos coming out in 2021, and then the next 3, 2022, is apparently as far as everything stacks up. So right now, finishing touches on the music, and then we're going to be recording some videos.
The weirdness won't last forever, and
No.
and it's just like everything else. It's a boomerang. So as soon as we're off our leash, it's gonna be back to back to back to back to back, and I'm sure the phone's gonna not stop ringing. There are a ton of venues that are just waiting for the opportunity. They're just waiting for the word, right? I don't anticipate things slowing down once they start up. So it's going to be a great time, and I think we'll have kind of unique opportunities, especially in these smaller venues as a proving ground, to kind of dip their toes in and say, hey, we'd like to do live bands again. How can we do this wisely, and how can we do this equitably to the musicians and the fans, where we're not just worried about keeping our doors open? Because obviously the worst case scenario happened. So at this point, it's not about being profitable or opening another place with the surplus profits. It's about serving your people with something they desperately need, which is to be around other folks and to feel a sense of community and to foster new relationships and to grow as a cohesive unit, which you can't do when you're sitting at home, right? You can't. Zoom meetings don't cut it. We know that. You know it in your soul. It just doesn't get you there. So it is, at least for our part, as soon as we're allowed off our leash, it's go time. Yeah, it's go time.
I can't wait to see you guys, come out swinging. I really can't.
It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be just knowing you and listening to your stuff and sitting down with you and stuff like that. I can't wait, guys. Seriously, thank you for doing this.
Sure.
All that kind of stuff. It was great having you on.
Welcome to the Fireside Chat.
Exactly. I love this, man. We need to get this for our studio.
We'll have to do this again.
I feel like we needed cigars, that whole time, and pinkies up, brandy, all that kind of stuff. Oh man. All right, guys. Thank you for watching The Sound, a show that takes you deep into the St. Louis music scene. Big thanks to our guests, the 45. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Thank you for having us here, Underground St. Louis, here at the Fireside Chat. everything like that. Guys, you can check out the 45 on music platforms. Which music platforms should they?
All
All of them. All music platforms around. Just type in the 45, and it's just numbers. Just 4 and 5. That's it. This episode of The Sound is brought to you by Diamond Music Hall. It's a kick-ass venue out in St. Peters, Missouri. They got live shows of all genres. So if you guys are looking to have a bitchin' time, head on out to Diamond Music Hall.
Underground St. Louis.
We go deep.